Graham Gartland here at the Hellfire Club. Welcome to Clear the Head. Each week we'll be talking to a member of Shamrock Rovers Football Club, going for a walk through their life and their journey.
We're kind of, you naturally enough as footballers start thinking who could come in, and the whole general chat we were having that over breakfast was, we just don't want them to leave, kind of.
Yeah.
It's because it's a very rare one in football, I find, when the manager has 24 players in the squad who he assigned every single one of them.
Yeah.
There's no one left from previous managers or previous regimes. It's his squad, so I think the manager knows on a Friday that because we're his players and stuff, we'd run through a brick wall from as such. Actually a picture of going back maybe 18 months ago of Aaron McAniff, Jack and Graham Burke of Kerryman, Ireland.
Yeah. And
I can't tell you, genuinely, it might sound weird to you, how much satisfaction I took from that picture.
Yeah.
Because I knew that I played an important, but I would have been the one that was
feeding them.
Not feeding them even, just I knew that because they're playing for Ireland, or they're up training with Ireland, their performances are obviously at this level. Okay. And in order for them to be at that level, I'm obviously playing some part in it.
Strange week for the club. The manager's obviously decided to stay. How big a boost was that for the players?
It was massive. When the news broke, obviously there was obviously substance behind it, because you knew that it wasn't just here and there reports. It was quite reports that had a lot of substance to them, and there was a lot of uncertainty, and I didn't like it, to be honest. It was kind of going into the training ground not really knowing what you're going to hear and stuff like this. And I remember the manager unfortunately lost his grandmother, and a few of us attended the funeral, and me and Ronan Finn and a couple of the other lads went out for breakfast afterwards. And it was around the time where I think it was like 1 or 2 days before the decision was going to be made, and we were kind of, naturally enough as footballers start thinking who could come in, and the whole general chat we were having that over breakfast was, we just don't want them to leave, kind of. It's because it's a very rare one in football, I find, when the manager has 24 players in the squad who he assigned every single one of them. There's no one left from previous managers or previous regimes. It's his squad, so I think the manager knows on a Friday that because we're his players and stuff, we'd run through a brick wall from as such. And so when we're all his players, he's signed us from here, there and everywhere. As I said, we're his group, so the general chat was we didn't want him to leave. So when the news, we got the message on the Friday morning, I believe, before a match, and it was just massive for us.
Now, I know Ronan it came out that Ronan spoke to Stephen, and then, but he, like you said, that togetherness that you all had, and that chat you had maybe Wednesday morning, and then Ronan goes and speaks to him. But Stephen was quite open and honest about where the situation was, did that help as well?
It did, yeah. I remember the Wednesday when we were told that we'll have a chat with the manager on the Thursday morning, and we all came in as a group, and I hope the manager doesn't mind me saying, but he sat us all down and said, "There's nothing's been sorted." He said, "And if there ever is, you'll be the first to know." Yeah. So we were kind of going in on the Thursday morning, and you're talking to a few of the lads on the Wednesday evening, thinking, what's coming here in the morning? Kind of fearing the worst as such, because there was so much substance behind the rumours. Yeah. So we went in on the Thursday morning, and the gaffer set us all down and just said, if there is anything happening, you'll be the first to know. And lo and behold, then we woke up 24 hours later, and the news broke that he was staying, and we were just delighted. Delighted as a group, obviously.
Getting to you now, you're working with obviously Stephen, Glenn, McPhail. They're all midfielders. Yeah. So is that added pressure for you, or I know it's going to be helpful at times, but is it also added pressure because you have the likes of McPhail saying, "Open out here and go here," and you're like, "See, just hit the ball," or Stephen going, Stephen's going, "You can go through a gap there," and you're like, "I couldn't dribble like you." I know Glenn's probably a tackler; you can do whatever Glenn does, but
Glenn is probably the one that I probably relate to most. To be honest, if you look at the way I play, and I love taking Glenn's ideas from games. He's what I would say is the master of the dark arts. He's the ugly side of the game, and all. He's brilliant, and he's just brought so much to my game. Obviously, with the gaffer and Steve McPhail, they're perfectionists as such. So at times for me it's difficult. It's frustrating at times because they're probably seeing the game, things that I maybe could have done or should have done, and it's hard. It's hard because I'm obviously playing within my capabilities and trying to do whatever, but it's great for me. They challenge me so much, you know. I've came in obviously from UCD coming up to 3 years now, and the amount of things that I've learned and adapted to. You know, when I was at UCD, I was probably a completely different player than what I am now, to be honest with you.
In what way?
It would have been like, you know, I actually left UCD as the 5th top goal scorer at the club. And now at UCD, or at Shamrock Rovers, 3 years later, and I have 3 goals in 3 years.
Yeah.
So my game has changed so much. Yeah, my game has changed so much, but it has to obviously evolve with when you're lining up with the likes, you know. And then any given Friday night, I could be playing with Richie Towell, Dylan Watts beside me, Jack Byrne, Danny Mandrew, Graham Burke ahead of me.
Yeah.
These are players that, no disrespect to UCD, I didn't have it at UCD.
So it was down to you.
Yeah, it was. In a way, you know, a lot of the things in the final third would have went through me at UCD, whereas now it's give these lads the ball and make sure we're locked up at the back, essentially.
Yeah.
But so my game has changed, and I owe it all to them, essentially. You know, Glenn, I work with Glenn obviously very close, and the other two are great for me as well.
You work in terms of screening the back line and making sure that you're always attached to them when Rovers are attacking.
Yeah, 100%.
So that when it comes out, you get second
control
and third
possession.
attacks.
It was something that we definitely looked at massively at the start of this year, because it was something that we probably let ourselves down with in Europe last year. Was our transition kind of more or less got us knocked out of Europe, essentially, because over in Flora we were a bit too open.
Yeah.
And they were, you know, top players are going to pick you off, you know. And so a lot of pre-season was back three, myself and Chris McCann, you know, taking turns and just sorting out that position when we're attacking. And essentially that's my job in the team. It's to make sure that we're a more solid team when I'm in it, and it's been good. I think it's been very good this year. The joint best defensive record in the league, and it's been really good. Yeah. The floor, one of the games last season, the European games, Slovan Bratislava, was it? Yeah.
I was very complimentary about your passing in the game, because you were punching balls through gaps, and like you said, you're punching the passes to the likes of Danny, Graham Burke, Jack back now, Richie Towell, Gaffney, all these lads. You're punching the passes into them, and it's their next pass that then causes the trouble.
Yeah.
But to get them there, they're the passes that open up games. Like, is that something you've consciously worked on as well?
100%. Yeah, it's something that I would have always liked to think was a strong part of my game. Is way I play in that position is because my passing is probably my best attribute.
Yeah.
Whether that be short, long, or you know, a pass through the lines, it's always been something that I've been quite strong at. But
it means the pace on them,
yeah,
like they're going too quick, you know.
Yeah, 100%. And something that the gaffer is constantly on is being aggressive with my passing.
Yeah.
Aggressive with him without the ball. It's the best part of my game. He always says to me, I'm at my best when I'm aggressive with him without the ball.
Yeah.
Aggressive with the ball being passing the ball forward between lines and hurting teams.
Yeah.
And I agree with him. You know, every time I come off a pitch, I know if I've been good or bad, and I can always kind of get a gauge on that, whether I've affected the opposition with and without me passing.
Yeah.
And I remember the game well. I remember we won a penalty. It was a pass I played through to Burke, and that was probably one of the best games I've had for Rovers. And probably off the back of that, I was aggressive with my
man of the match that night, did you?
I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure if I did. Actually, I got taken off with 10 minutes to go. I
gave Con a little heads up. Give man of the match there, you'd be good.
I think I was about 2 minutes away from getting sent off as well.
Yeah, true. Yeah, but you have to do that.
Yeah,
you have to give away them type of fouls in the games, professional fouls.
It was the exact same foul that could have got me sent off.
Yeah.
The first one was last minute in the first half, and voice was breaking, and I took a yellow for it, and then second half, maybe 65, 70 minutes, same thing, voice is breaking, and I kind of pulled out of it.
Yeah. And you were disappointed to be taken off, but you also understood.
100%, because it's cost us in Europe before nearly. I remember we played out in Limassol. I was only new to the club, and not that it cost us essentially, but Lee got a red card, and they were already down to 10 men. It kind of evened up the game, and we ended up going out. And we played against Ilves last year.
Yeah.
Scalesy got sent off, and we were down to 10 men. We eventually went through on penalties.
Yeah.
So it's something that we thought was actually discipline in Europe.
Yeah.
It'd be massive for us. So I knew, and because the gaffer pulled me over and said, "What did the referee say to you?" As honest as I could be. The referee said, "One more and you're gone."
Yeah.
And I don't even think my bum was on the seat, on the bench, and Voice had scored.
Yeah.
So I literally just when I went off the pitch,
yeah, that's right.
I was just a blow, because we were in the ascendancy that time.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
Yeah.
Going back to everything you've gone through, you came out of Kerry which isn't exactly a hotbed of football. And you're probably sick of hearing that because it's a pain in the at this stage. You've never picked up a GAA ball. You're not into it. You were just football from the start.
Always. Yeah.
Your dad was a big influence in that, true?
Dad is massive. Yeah. He's the biggest influence in my life, on and off the pitch. He's my best friend as such. But from a young age, he founded the club. I originally played for Kingdom Boys at the time. They're no longer a club now, but he was the founder of the club. So when I was 4 and 5, he was obviously coaching his team.
Yeah.
And he'd be a very well-respected coach down there. He was with the Kerry under-17s maybe 2-3 years ago, and he founded the Kingdom Boys. So when he was coaching his team, I'd always be 4 or 5 up there running around. And from then, it was just all you know, and it's ingrained in such a young age. And it was just something that never interested me. School teachers tried to get me to play and stuff, but just not for me at all.
And do you think that gave you, because you had maybe a father who was that into it, it gave you a better understanding of the game as well?
Definitely, 100%. He wouldn't mind me saying he's my harshest critic, and even when I play well, he'd be the first to tell me I play well, but he's also the first to tell me when I could have been better. But he understands the game, and that's probably why there's lads I know from throughout my years in football that their dads don't get it. Yeah. And they're always the best player and stuff like that. And I like it the other side, but my dad knows. You can see the game, he knows the game a lot. And
so it's coming from an educated place
100%,
as well.
It's not just a opinion from listening to things on televisions or whatever. He knows the game, and he sees the game really well. And he.
Would you like to see Kerry get into the league at some stage then as a club?
Yeah, I would. As such. There's probably not enough down there though, I don't think.
Okay.
And not that there's not players down there, it's just I think if you're going to come into the league, you probably have to bring something to the league in terms of fan bases, facilities, everything like that. And probably look at they have the 17s and 19s, which is another thing where I think if you have an under 17s or 19s team, you probably should have a progression to it.
Yeah. Where did it go then?
Exactly. Yeah. I look at it down there and I think if you had the better players from Kerry, this counties, surrounding counties, Limerick districts, Limerick Desmonds and stuff like that, you probably could have a very good side. But obviously you have your treaty, and I think Limerick obviously have plans to come back into the league. But I'd love to see it. Yeah, Cork Cove is massive. I think over the next 5-6 years, if you could put things in place with the 17s, 19s, because obviously playing 17s, 19s, you might get 1 or 2 then going to Cork, maybe 1 go to Cove, and after that then the rest of the lads might play either junior soccer or play junior GA down there.
So here's an interesting one then, because I'm going to jump ahead now. So you said about what Kerry would bring, they have to bring something. So now it's the UCD, because UCD, what do they bring? Because I know you have a lot of time for UCD, and I do. I think what they do is brilliant, but they've no fan base.
I know.
I read a thing the other day. By the time a 20-year-old's in college, he probably has his team already. Yeah. He's not going to now go, right, I'm supporting UCD.
Yeah.
I've come down from Donegal, I'm supporting Finn Harps,
I think the fan base is probably the only thing that you can't really defend at UCD. It's probably the only thing you can't defend. It's never going to be a well-supported team because there's no one really, like you say, there's no one 20, 21 years old is going to want to support the college really. Yeah. You might get you lads who are quite loyal. I know there's a few fans down there who go to every game and who still have good time for it.
So what did you get out with UCD? Other than, I know you got a degree in sports management.
I loved it. I learned the game essentially because I came back from England quite broken really at 18. I went over at 15. Sorry, I came back at 20.
You went to Wolves at 15?
I went to Wolves at 15, and I signed a 4-year at Wolves. I ended up doing 3 years and then I got released with a year left on my contract. Yeah. I just got paid up the year. They were just saying, listen, they were saying what's ahead of you is better than you, and what's coming up from behind you
it's better than you.
It's going to be better than you, essentially.
And how did that make you feel?
I kind of, when I look back at it now, I was, ego nature, I didn't agree with it. Yeah. But when I look back at it now, I was nowhere near ready to play at that age. And I went to Port
What did you think was stopping you?
I just thought I was so far behind everyone.
In what way? What would you say? Physically?
Physically, yeah. Even this is nothing to do with giving out or anything, but from such a young age, I have the conversation with, I think it was Richie Toll was having a conversation with the other day, and I was saying to him, these lads in England are, from such a young age, are getting the right foods, the right gym stuff, the right training. See it over in the Rovers Academy now, it's unbelievable what they have.
Yeah. But we didn't get that.
When I was leaving Kerry, I was training twice a week with Kingdom Boys against players who I was quite a bit better than. I was going home and I was eating whatever my mama cooked for dinner. You know, it was, there's no like tailored towards your training. Yeah, 100%. And it's a small thing, like, but I was just, when I was over there, gym wise, I was so far off it.
Yeah.
Tactically, I didn't really understand the game. I was so young, obviously.
Yeah.
Probably not expected to at that age, really. But technically, I was decent. But these lads are every bit as good as me, you know. And physically, they're just up here. So
and they're able to go longer because of that.
Yeah.
So you're flat out in the game, and they're cruising, and then you go. They need to go. You're thinking, I need to go up a gear, and they're going, no, right, like, you know.
You're going gears, I'm going
gears. Exactly.
I was 15 at the time, and I was playing with the Wolves under 16s originally when I went over. And sometimes what would happen is if you played well for the 16s in Wolves, you'd finish the game, and then you go down the hill and play for the 18s, maybe the second half.
Yeah.
And I remember, I'd say it only happened to me 2 or 3 times, but I remember going down thinking, these are men, like.
Yeah.
These under 18s. I was thinking, I'm so far off this.
Yeah. You get little frights, don't you?
Yeah,
like,
you do.
You go. I remember playing in the reserves at 17 and thinking, like, these lads are all beasts. Like, you know, I'd never seen the gym. Like, I'd seen boxing gyms and trained in gyms, but never seen like an orchestrated you go in and do your program.
Yeah, that's what it was with me at Wolves as well. I just everything was. Not that it phased me as such, it didn't phase me. I was just so far off it. I genuinely, when I look back at it now, and you know, I'd probably have conversations with my dad, and my dad would say, no, like, you know, you were good enough at the time and stuff like that. I probably was technically there. Yeah. But every other aspect of the game, I was million.
Do you think it's better, like, because I read that you said you love the experience of it, and it made you mature, and it made you grow up, and it made you, like, sort of be. Compared to everyone else around you at that age, you grew up a lot quicker. You have to, I get that. But do you think now with what obviously Rovers are trying to do, that they're better prepared going?
Oh, 100 million percent, yeah, 1,000,000%. See what they do, like the lads that come in training with us now, and essentially they're men. You know, like little Idemo came in with us 2 years ago, maybe 18 months ago. He was a man, he was ready, like, you know. You had no hesitation to put him in. And even I look at the lads now, your Sean Carey's and stuff. Physically he's there, like, you know, he's ready to go. And
Justin, who's training with just a little bit now, you can see.
Oh, physically he's there. Yeah, I even watched the Ireland under, they'd be 16s, are they? Or 16s. I watched them play out in Portugal recently. I was live on a YouTube game, and I watched Justin played, and a few of the other lads played, and I was thinking, these lads are, even the Portuguese, like, look at them, face, like.
Would you help the young lads when they come in?
I'd like to think so, yeah. I'd have a good relationship with a lot of them, you know. I talk to Conan quite a lot. Yeah. Idemo quite a lot, Sean Carey. I'd like to think I'd be one that's very approachable, like.
Because actually, like, see, when I talk to them outside of it, you don't realise how meaningful that is. That they go, oh no, he helps me, and that feeling of I can approach him, or I can ask him stuff, or I can, like, you know, go to him if I'm not understanding something, but I don't want to ask in the group, or I can ask God.
100%, yeah. And it's not even for me with, I might not even help them with football stuff. It might just be just to feel comfortable in the surroundings of having a conversation. Yeah. Because I found out when I was in England, you know.
Did you have anyone like that would help you?
I was there's a boy who plays for Oxford now, Anthony Ford. He's from Limerick. Okay. And he would have played for Kingdom Boys for a year in Kerry. So he actually ended up signing for Wolves. He went on to play in the Premier League under McCarthy, and made his debut in Stamford Bridge, and he was 2 or 3 years older than me. Right. And he was good to me. He was very, very good to me. But even the lesser part of it is actually when you're going on trial. Yeah. And you know, when you're going in and you go into a change room and you're sitting on your own and stuff like that. So even when young lads come up here, Gideon's up with us quite a lot. Justin, Mikey Leddy, Idemo, Sean Carey. Just actually someone that you can have a conversation with, which makes you feel a lot more comfortable in a.
But for you, it's a small conversation. For them, they go home and say, "Oh, Gary O'Neill was brilliant today." And then they go and watch the game, and their parents are going, "No, he's actually, he's the one helping me son." If the more they do that, the players will actually start showing themselves and be more comfortable. I think so.
Comfortable in the surroundings. I don't think if you're comfortable in your surroundings in training ground, you're probably going to play within yourself regardless. Yeah. I found that, especially you'd be younger growing up, I was, you know, probably looking to satisfy, or like, you're looking for an approval as such. Yeah. So I think the likes of Idemo and players like that, when they're up training, they probably look at the likes of Jack, and you want to make him think that you're a good player. I always felt like that when I was younger.
You want a well done, don't you?
Yeah,
off your peers. We touched on that before about impressing your peers is as big as impressing the manager.
100%. Yeah, you want to feel like you're going into training and these players when because I've definitely felt it before when I was training with Wolves under 18s as such when I was 15, 16, and you're in possession, you're giving the ball away, and you know these lads are talking about you then. You know when you're going for a bottle of water.
Or you roll their eyes when you got like
100%,
that.
You're looking out the corner of your eye and you know.
That one that used to do me head in.
Again,
Stop flapping your arms. Used to hate that.
Or you have the French lad that always kiss their teeth and so I just knew. Honestly, I just knew
that little.
I knew it. Like top boy.
Yeah.
And so it's a massive thing for the young lads. I mean, I'd like to think personally that I'm someone that they definitely feel very, very comfortable in approaching, and I do have a good relationship with all of them, so I'd like to think they do.
But that's a different type of leadership as well, you know, that you bring, and that's why it's important that obviously with what we're trying to build with the young players coming through, that they feel that's not I have to work to get there and I have to work to stay there, but it's not unattainable, and it's not something to be afraid of neither.
You know? Definitely not. I think the proof is in the pudding of the lads who've come up and done it. I had him as a main man in our squad now. You know, he's on the team sheet every week. I don't think Conan's too far off. I think Conan's brilliant. It's probably one that
goes under the radar. Conan, doesn't he?
Brilliant.
He's technically excellent.
He's brilliant. Honestly, he's been unfortunate because I think he actually came back from pre-season and he was training with us, and even us as lads, like we were talking over lunch, thinking he's not far off. Like he's coming massively. And he's had a blip he's got COVID and he's kind of struggling to get back to where he was, but he'll get there. Obviously he's so young, but he's one I think that's going to make a serious jump at the squad.
So after Wolves then you went to Port Vale?
I went to Port Vale.
And how was that? Like, how did you find leaving? Because you leave this lovely academy and then you go and it's
reality.
You get this and you might be changing at the stadium or
that's what it was. It was Wolves Port Vale had the stadium here, and you walk down maybe 200 or 300 yards and you walk down at the two training pitches. I actually left Wolves, and conversation again I've had with my dad so many times, and I went on trial to a few places. I went on trial to Port Vale. Mickey Adams, the manager, they had just got promoted from League 2 to League 1. And they were just starting their development squad, so it was a brand new thing, an under 21 squad at the time, and they asked me to come on trial. Done really well, got offered a contract 1 year, and I had a girlfriend in England at the time, so I was quite settled in England.
Right.
And but I got offered then a trial up at Hibs, and Pat Fenlon was the manager.
Okay.
But obviously Pat was with the senior team. This was under 23s, I think they had it in Scotland at the time.
I remember well,
And I went up and loved it.
Hibs training ground's nice as well, isn't
it? Amazing, loved it there. I went up to Edinburgh, I went for 4 days and done really, really well. Invited me back. I went back, I played a game against Kilmarnock, done really, really well. Went to the first team game they played St Mirren in the stadium, and got pulled in after and said, we really like you, I think you're a great fit for here, ready to offer you a 2-year contract.
I could see why, with the way Hibs play,
you
know what I mean?
So they offered me the 2-year deal. Had a decision to make, went home, stuff like that, and in hindsight's a great thing. I should have taken it. I should have went up there, and because it was a great place at the time. They were coming good. Pat Fenlon was obviously the manager, but I was just so drawn down to England. So I ended up taking the year with Port Vale and made the bench 6 or 7 times and never played a minute. And then I was actually very surprised because I came on the pre-season tour with Port Vale in the pre-season when I just signed. Came to Ireland, played 2 games, was flying. Like generally around the squad is flying. Playing the last pre-season game before the season started, the ball dropped. I've gone to turn it around the corner on the volley. Someone's hit me here and my MCL went. So I done my MCL. Was out for 3 months, came back, was just getting back to where I was. Always around the floor team, training them every day, you know. And at the end of the year, Mickey Allen's pulled us all into the office. Didn't even do it 1 by 1. 10 of us in said, we're not keeping the development squad next year, just financially it's not obtainable. None of these are good enough. One player got kept. Jordan Hugo went on to play for, he's at Cardiff now.
He done that as a group, did he?
Yeah, 9 of us. just said
that. You're all looking at each other as well, thinking.
Yeah, well,
you have to try and be strong as well.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, yeah.
We were all supposed to be going in individually.
Yeah.
But and I was always the one that was around the first team, apart from Jordan. He had moved into the first team change room at this stage. So they were all the lads were saying to me, right, if it's meetings, Gary, you go in first because we can get a good gauge.
Yeah, exactly.
So if I go in and I got let go, they didn't have much hope for themselves, obviously. But he pulled us in and let us go. And
how did you find that? Did you find like it sounds a little bit crass or?
Yeah, probably my first exposure to the harsh nature of the game.
Yeah.
It was. I felt like I was in a great position to at least get another year, and I would have been happy with it. I would have taken another year.
Yeah.
And when I look back at myself now, I'm probably naive to the fact that, again, when I look back, I was nowhere near ready to play League One.
Oh yeah.
Physically, I was so far off that.
And the relentlessness of it is in Saturday,
Tuesday every week. Yeah.
People go, the travelling. I always say this to people: England's massive.
Like,
you know?
It is. I remember we played Plymouth in an FA Cup game. It's my first time making the bench. And the drive, the bus journey down, honestly, must have been 4 or 5 hours from Port Vale to Plymouth. I can't remember now, but it was so long. And it was my first time on the bench, and I was thinking.
See, the travelling used to be bad in Ireland because the roads weren't great.
Yeah.
So you take you. Watford was a pain. Yeah. But like now it's grand, and you can get to these places really quick. But the UK is just big.
No, it is.
And then you doing that Saturday, Tuesday.
Yeah, and there's so many clubs.
Yeah.
So many places to go. Honestly, you could be down the same part of the country every week, well, every couple of weeks, really. Like.
And why did you think you weren't ready at that stage then? Again, the physicality?
Yeah, I was probably ready to play.
Technically and tactically, you were ready then?
Oh yeah, I was there definitely. Yeah. I was always around the first team, and Mickey Adams was quite good to me, in fairness. It was Mickey Adams and Mark Grew. Rob Page was the Wales manager, and I was the coach at the time. And he was, they were very good at me, like. But when I just look back on it, even when I look at the league now, I think it's so demanding. Yeah. So demanding. Midfielders are box to box, strong, and probably where I am. I look at it now and think, I'd fancy a bit of that, like, but not that I'd genuinely, I would never like to go back to England at this stage of my career. But
why is that?
It just doesn't appeal to me. It doesn't appeal to me at all. I think when I look at people going over, and Georgie Kelly's obviously done really well. He's gone over and he's in the Championship now. It's ended up being a good move for him. But when I look at the vast majority, it's scrapping a lot. Yeah. And not that there's nothing wrong with it. Financially, it might be good for them, whatever. But I just think in my stage of my career now, I'd rather be fighting for titles every year, having a pop off Europe every year, having a pop off being, in a double winning team, as opposed to just being in England and battling every week, to finish 14th, 15th.
There's a lot to be said for it as well, isn't it?
100%. Just to look back on it, and I'm sure these lads will look back and have great memories. But it's the FAI Cup, obviously in 2019. Obviously, you
scored to win a penalty.
The half a season in 2020 when we.
What was that feeling like, scoring to win a penalty?
Amazing.
Would that be the highlight of your career?
It must be. Yeah, it must be the highlight of the career. Yeah, I just obviously came in the July window.
You and Neil had signed.
Me and Neil signed the same day. Yeah.
Was that helpful having somebody come from the same team?
Yeah, it was, but he was injured.
I know.
So I was out on the training pitch on my own anyway.
Yeah.
But it was great. Neil's my best friend. Like, I spent so much time away from football. Like,
do you think going into different dressing rooms as a youngster, again found this new dressing rooms as you get older become easier because of doing it when you were 15 and having that lump in your throat, or having that, Rovers were still daunting for me. Yeah, that's what I'm saying to you. But you're still able, but it's still daunting.
Oh, it was still daunting, especially because I came from UCD, where I obviously came back from. For whatever reason, I left Port Vale and went to Hereford. That's another story.
We'll go back to that.
Shambles.
We'll circle back to that one.
It was a shambles. But I came back and I went to UCD, and UCD is obviously quite it's young group, obviously. So I still probably hadn't been exposed to the senior nature of football. I was obviously in and around Port Vale, like I still got changed every day with the 21s. I wasn't in the change room with the first team every day, and so my first kind of exposure was Rovers. Yeah. You're coming in and you have your Jack Burns and you have your characters at the time, and it was probably my first eye opener to a senior change room. But it was still daunting for me.
And who would have helped you when you first came in then?
Finner was great for me. Finner was unbelievable.
Because he's ex-UCD as well, so he understands.
I know Finner's one of my closest mates.
Yeah.
Outside
Did you go fishing with Finner?
No, I'd like to. I haven't got the nod yet.
No, he's just likes him going by himself.
He's loyal to his own. He's boys from the north side.
I asked him to do this, and he's like, I'm fishing. I was
really?
Like, right, leave her off.
He'd be a great one for it, to be fair. But Finner was great with me. It was, to be fair, it would be hard for me to put my finger on and say that he wasn't. I understand from being a footballer that lads are, everyone's different, you know. Some lads kind of aren't going to be the type to come up and say, oh, I look after you. You know, you kind of just get to know people over time.
Not that they say it, you just know they do it. Its actions are better than, look after you if you ever need that. It's better than.
Another one actually. I think the name check, he was unbelievable for me when I came.
That's a country thing.
Munster. We had to look after each other, but I played against Lee when he was at Wexford at the time, and so I kind of knew him a small bit. And obviously, I played against all of them. Aaron McAniff is another one I've been very close with. He was my roommate for the.
You forget about the players that you. No wonder you look good playing all that.
I know. There's actually a picture of going back maybe 18 months ago of Aaron McAniff, Jack, and Graham Burke of training with Ireland. Yeah. And I can't tell you, genuinely, it might sound weird, how much satisfaction I took from that picture. Yeah. Because I knew that I played in I played an important, but I would have been the one that was
feeding them.
Not feeding them even, just I knew that because they're playing for Ireland or they're up training with Ireland, their performances are obviously at this level, and in order for them to be at that level, I'm obviously playing some part in it.
And you allowed that. I touched on this with Lopez and Grace. You're allowing them players to feel freedom. You're able to go and express yourself when you know you're protected. It's like a child. They're able to go off and do certain things because they know, it's okay. There's a comfort there. No, my parents are there, and I'm not saying that in a just an example of it, but they're able to go and express themselves and try something because they know, Gary's minding it, and Lopez, Grace's minding the house. And that's a big thing. So it's great that you took satisfaction from it.
No, genuinely, I saw
probably
the picture.
Have on your wall, do you?
It's I'm beside my bed, beside me. It's not something I've actually ever said to anyone really that I've taken satisfaction from. But I remember looking at the picture, thinking, John, like I must be doing my job at a high level here. If these three lads are getting recognised for Ireland, that they're, Aaron was scoring goals all the time. Jack was being Jack, and Berkey, for me, Berkey's just unbelievable. He was playing at a really high level at the time, and I was obviously the one sitting behind him in that midfield because we played the box, obviously. Yeah. So I was the odd one out, I was sitting at home, but I still, when I look at the picture, like that time when Rovers posted it, I was like, took a lot of satisfaction from it.
But we talk about that with the kids coming up. That's it's called the growth mindset. Is that you're so open and happy for other people's success. You're not envious of it. It'll drive you on to think, well, I want that, but I'm still happy for you.
Yeah, 100%.
That's a big thing, like.
Yeah, I know. Like I say to you, I don't personally have any aspirations to go back to England. I probably think I'm past my sell-by date to play for Ireland. Okay. But I still.
I'm 27 though.
27, yeah. I still, if I think I'm being a realist, I'm still going to obviously perform to me optimum every week because I want to win silverware with Shamrock Rovers for years to come. But I think then, if I can contribute to Jack, and you look at Danny now, Danny's obviously got a call with Ireland and stuff like that. So if I look at it in my own way, I need to play at top of my level, wherever that'll take me. But these lads, your Dylan Watts, I personally don't think Dylan gets enough credit for.
No, I thought he was. And by the way, last season when obviously Jack leaving, the assists he got, I thought he was incredible. Yeah.
Dylan, if I'm playing at my level, Chris McCann is the same, obviously. Yeah. Whenever I don't play, Chris comes in and Chris played in the Premier League, he's a top player. And if we're playing to this level, it gives these lads the freedom to, because if we're not, we're holding them back from contributing. But
it also keeps you to get that. Also keeps you in terms of keeps you hungry and keeps you honest, as I say. Yeah. And that when you have these lads waiting to play, and that's not that you need it, but it's still there. It's there. Yeah. And that's why that's how big in it. So. Obviously you've had some extremely highs, especially at Rovers. You went to Hereford then, and that was a particularly low point for loads of different reasons.
It was just a disgrace from the minute I got down to the first day, to be honest. I should have came home. Conversation I had with my dad my dad actually said to me, because my dad's a big League of Ireland fan, I would have grown up watching when I was, maybe before I went to England, between 10 and 14, I would have went to Cork City a lot.
Okay.
I would have went to watch that.
Back when you were winning the league?
Yeah, usually Georgie O'Callaghan's, your Liam Carney's, that team, like I would have went to watch them. Dennis Feehan, John O'Flynn, like all them lads I used to go watch. So my dad.
Did you go to the cup final? No?
I don't think so. No. So my dad has always had like a top respect for the league, whereas when I was 10 to 14, I could admit it. No, I didn't.
Yeah.
No, I didn't. I just thought it was either UK or nowhere.
Yeah, I understand that. You feel like they failed in England. You look in and go, no, he failed in England.
Yeah.
He failed. And and then when you go over and you come back, you go, oh no. Like,
I remember my first game for UCD when I first signed was away at Dundalk in a cup game. It was like the EA Sports Cup was actually starting. Remember, it used to be played before the first league game.
Yeah.
So we played Dundalk away in Oriel, and the midfield that night, the Stephen O'Donnell, Rona Finn, Richie Tell. My first game, I was like, oh my god. Honestly, I was coming off the pitch thinking, I'm way off this.
Yeah.
And I went to Hereford, going back to that, and just from minute one, I just never should have done it. Like, it was.
Did you feel you were chasing something that
100%,
to sort of prove people right, or prove yourself right, or feeling like, you feel like there's a certain amount that you think, I failed here, and I don't want to go back.
I want to go back to my friends and everything. Yeah. Probably to a lesser extent. I think I was just probably chasing England as such, when it was just so right for me, and it ended up being. Listen, everything happens for a reason and stuff. UCD ended up being the perfect time for me at the perfect time, because I was close with Pat Devlin at the time, and
he knew your dad, didn't he?
Yeah, Pat just went in as the sporting director at UCD, and I just came over from Hereford. They just went bust on the 22nd of December, which was about 4 months too late, because we hadn't seen a penny from what we were promised at the start, and probably should have picked up on it a lot sooner than they did, because what they were promising on giving us, and like where they were, we were in there. I think I don't even know what it's called. Like, you know, it's maybe 3 or 4 levels below the conference, and they were promising us this and this and this, and it got to the 22nd of December. They had a winding up order, court date. Chairman didn't turn up to the court date, and then it's just obviously went up on social media that the club has been seized, and went out of thing, and that's the last I ever heard from anyone at that club. You know, so my dad. I'm not laughing in it
because the club goes to the wall. I'm just laughing at the lack of information, and people just go, good luck. Like,
it's incredible. It's incredible.
How many staff would you have at a club that you just go, shrug your shoulders?
I know, yeah. And that
not
was
just the players, people who probably
dinner ladies,
that they just go,
kitmen, everything, and that was the 22nd of December. Not too sure what
tough
year
Christmas.
It was. You know, it was actually because I'd been away for so long, because I was at Port Vale, then I went to Hereford. Wolves even. I had actually missed out on Christmas with my family. Yeah. So I was actually, it was probably one of the best Christmases I've had in a long time. Just home, I was around my family where I wanted to
Safe.
be. Yeah, again, a comfort.
Yeah.
And I got the phone call from UCD before Christmas as well, that they wanted me to come up and have a look around, and I did, and I loved it. Yeah. Loved it from minute one, like.
And you studied there as well?
Yeah, I done a degree in sports management.
Is there something you're looking to go into then?
No, no, it's not.
That's a waste of a degree. What are you looking to do then?
If I could answer you now, I'd probably be lying. I don't know, to be honest.
Okay.
But I think when people would ask me, do I want to do a bit of coaching and stuff like that? No.
Okay.
I think once I'm finished with.
Your dad scared you with the coaching, didn't you?
Yeah, I think once I'm finished with the career, I think that'll be me with football.
Right.
Yeah, I just.
What's your ambition then after it?
I don't, to be honest, truthfully, I don't know. And it's something that I'll have to, I obviously have the degree behind my back, which can be used with multiple things, but something that I'll explore probably over the next 2 or 3 years, to be honest. But I wouldn't.
You've a long way to go. I was just touching on it because obviously you done the degree, so I don't ask current players what you thinking, because it's not something you think about, and you're letting chinks in then as well. No. Yeah. So what's your ambitions then for the next?
I just signed a new contract at Rovers, obviously, which is.
Is that an exclusive?
Yeah, well, at the start of this season, I signed a long enough one, something that'll keep me here for the next few years. And since I've been here, all I've known is winning trophies. To be honest, I've obviously won the FAI Cup, I've won the league, and the half a season we went invincible, and then won the league last year. And it's something that I want to keep driving home. I want to finish my Shamrock Rovers career, whenever that may be, with as many league medals behind my belt as possible. And I think we're in great state again this year, and with the way the club is at the moment, I think it's in a great position for, definitely for as long as I'm going to be here anyway.
Yeah, and then obviously with Stephen staying adds to that as well.
100%, yeah, 100%. It's a massive one for us. And
what was your highlight so far of it?
The Rovers career, the FA Cup penalty has to be.
Did you realise how much it meant to people at the time?
Not even remotely.
Yeah.
Not even remotely. It was, again, coming from UCD, and I'd only been there for 5-6 months. To even be on the pitch for me that day was amazing. Yeah, because it was the squad. Even you had Dylan Watts was an unused sub that day. If you forget that, it was like he was an unused sub. Didn't even come on for extra time or penalties and stuff like that. I got in ahead of Greg Boulder at the time, and it was a toss up between the two of us. Who was going to play in the cup final. I genuinely thought that the gaffer would have went with Greg at the time because experience. He'd been in the cup finals before, he'd won 2 before, and he's obviously a very, very good player. And I got the nod the day before we went down to the Carton House. I
think he sees you. I think he probably seen you at the time as well. If I play him in these big games, I'll play him in the bigger games going forward. Where maybe he's edging Greg out. And then that. Well, a lot of faith he showed you. That day,
massive, massive. And
I think you repaid him on the day as well, though.
Yeah, I done alright. I done okay. And I look back in the game and I feel like I could have done a lot more. I remember coming off the game, obviously just on a high, but I actually watch it back. I was quite quiet in the game, and it was probably just out of pure nerves. It was the first big game of my career in front of a crowd like that. The only other game I played in front of a crowd that would be even anywhere closer, which it isn't, it would have been, I went on loan to Southport from Port Vale in the conference. I played, my debut was down in Barney. A packed house down in Barnet. I was thinking it was 8,000 people or something. And this is
you're
the
getting
Aviva,
that every week now.
Yeah, exactly. And this was the Aviva 40,000. And
when you're standing there like as a player, because I understand little bits of it, but everybody has their own experiences. Are you thinking of all that tough times and all them things you went through as a player, all the stuff your family sacrificed? You're standing there listening to the national anthem, going, "This is for maybe people that backed you." People that maybe proving people wrong as well. Sorry, you know what I mean? Like all them thoughts. So I used to remember standing there going,
right, it's interesting.
That thought process was coming of, this is for my dad. He helped me. This is all the times I even doubted myself and proving yourself right a little bit.
Yeah, I remember I won just touching on that point. I won the Player of the Year in the League of Ireland, First Division in 2018, the year before I signed for Rovers.
Yeah.
And I had a tough year the year before with a few things off the pitch, just a tough year. And I remember winning the Player of the Year in the Margot Hotel at the awards night. And it was the First Division Player of the Year, but it's something that I take great satisfaction from. But I remember actually coming off the stage and my dad wasn't there that night, and I just remember texting him and just saying, that means more to him than it does to me, because we just had a few things we were just away from sport, just family things, we had tough things going on, and my dad is the strongest man I've ever met. He's someone that I just, I look up to. I idolise my dad, I remember coming off, and he'd been through tough times with losing parents and stuff, other things, and I won the Player of the Year that night. Unfortunately, I wish he was there, but he wasn't to be in. And I remember texting him just when I got back to my seat, got the award off the stage, got back to my seat, put the award on the table, took my phone out, I said that award is for you, essentially, and then the cup final was probably, and my cousin actually was up, my cousin, my brother, my uncle and my dad came to the match along with all my aunties. My dad's a big family, a lot of sisters and stuff, and I remember she took a video of the penalty, my cousin, and my dad's beside him. My dad just reduced to tears, it just, and that's what it means, and I was probably in the lineup listening to the national anthem that time. Just my dad's the big one for me, when I see my dad up there, it means so much to him, and like you say, it's a satisfaction for them above. And my dad probably got up the next day in Kerry and walked down the streets of Tralee, and everyone's saying to me his phone is hopping, and that's what it's all about, the grand scheme of things. It's great for me and my CV and everything like that, but for my dad, I'd say he was, my dad's a small enough fella, I'd say he's 6'7" the next morning, it's great. For me, that's what it's all about,
Be great, like you said, for everybody at the club, and it'd be great to go on and bring more success to the club, and I think you're going to be part of it for a long time. I really enjoy commentating on you because I understand the role you play and what you do for the team, and you've been fantastic since you came in for Rovers, and we really appreciate you coming and giving us your time here today.
No, my pleasure.
Fantastic.
All right. Thanks, Gat.
Pleasure, Gaz.
Thanks.
All right. I'll show you Tallaght Stadium here. Look.
It's fucking some view up here.
I know, yeah.
Honestly.
So these, I always get it wrong. See, the trees are grown, so you sort of can't.
You see fucking everything, had you?
Ah, yeah. Look. So see there. See the back stand